So today I will be focusing on the packet flow. Okay. Packet flow means like basically whenever any of the packet enters the FortiGate, then how's the life? So life of packet inside the FortiGate firewall. What are the decisions being made? What are the actions are being taken? So that's what we are going to discuss today. So this is the image I have taken from the FortiGate website. It's available there just for the, I like it very good. And in fact, like they have prepared in the very flow manner. So that's why I have taken that one so that like we can learn from it. And if you want to find out this image, you can find out on the FortiGate document that packet flow, and it will be like available and easy to understand. So let me explain that in the detail that what basically is happening. Okay. So if I enter that packet inside the like packet is approaching towards the interface, like packet flow, ingress and egress. So either like it is leaving or coming to the interface, but basically it is entering. So we'll focus on the ingress or not focus, like we will say that is an ingress. So do you hear that air turbulence in your sound, or it's fine?
Your voice is a bit distorted.
So you see that
I think it's for me. It's clear.
it's correct. Okay. So you don't hear that voice air turbulence. I think I just open my
Nothing.
window.
Nothing.
Okay,
Nothing.
that's good.
Nothing.
Okay,
For me, nothing.
okay, that's fine. I have fixed little bit my mic, so should be fine. So now, if my packet is entering at the network interface, very first it has some basic checks it does. Okay, so very first thing like it just tries to check whether that packet is legitimate or not, right? So that's like very essential whenever we are like taking care or we make sure that anything is coming on my firewall. We should be very sure that whatever is coming, that's genuine and doesn't have any malicious intent in that. And then only we try to process it further. But if has something like wrong packet size or the not crafted in a right way. So whenever I say the crafted, it means that sometimes what happens that people generate a fake packet in order to exploit the things or because of the malicious intent. So in that case, our packet is being discarded and like we, our not we, in fact, the firewall doesn't take care of that one. Okay. So here, those things are taken care that your packet is coming there, right? Now, if the packet is almost fine, like we think of that, okay, it is fine, and then we move towards the like packet is start being processed by the TCP/IP stack. So TCP/IP stack means basically it is a type of process, or you can say an engine, or the process which is responsible for processing a TCP/IP packet. So it starts looking onto it that okay, the something has arrived to me, and now I have to work on it. So it is like find out because it's an IP packet, so it will start checking it that okay, is it like I have to look onto the destination IP, what is the source IP, and accordingly it will process. So, for example, it's just finds that okay, this is the something is handed over to the TCP/IP stack. It has some certain source IP, certain destination IP, and now it moves in the next step and checking towards the DOS policy. So if you have configured any DOS policy, then only your packet will be inspected against the denial of service policy. If you haven't created or attached any profile for that DOS policy, then it will not be looked upon. Simply, it will process further. But in case you have enabled that DOS policy, is just make sure that the packet doesn't fall in the criteria of the denial of service. There are certain type of services like usually we are having this denial of service and which is responsible for the like I will say the put the services down. This is like disruptive behavior or intentions malicious actors are having, and they do not get like any benefit out of it, but still they get the services just for the reputation or revenue loss perspective. So, for example, it's my website freshdeveloper.online, and anybody launches any denial of service attack, and for 1 hour, if any of the services are down, I'm not like much taking care. Okay, that's okay, because I understand that okay after 1 hour, uh, everything will be fine, and I do not have like a very large customers or databases that people are handling. Uh, I can just inform, for example, like 100 guys are accessing that, and I can just inform that okay, that's yeah for the sometime services are down. But there are certain like larger enterprises we are having the very huge customer database. For example, Amazon we are having, right? If your Amazon shopping portal,
IRCTC.
IRCTC, right? So if their uh, portal is down for even like 30 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 hour, it becomes a breaking news that that website got down. So they have the revenue loss, right? Because anybody will be not be able to book the tickets, and they may change their mind and they may not come back to these websites. And also there's a reputation loss, like people lose the trust that okay, IRCTC got disrupted because of the any hack or attempt. So these are like disruptive services which will try to do it, and these are like majority. It is happening for the reputed website, and where we the most of the larger customer or larger database are trying to connect to these websites. But whenever it is happening, these websites are already having the like services available. But let's try to understand basically that what are these denial of services attack and how people try to launch these. This not covered this not required in this, but I think it's very good that if you understand this, that what basically they are, and then only
In CCNA 300 it is one of the part of the chapter DOS.
uh, in the first module, right? What was called NSE 1.
In CCNA I'm talking about.
Okay, since CCNA. Okay, okay. So, but also if you go in the NSE 1 or NSE 2, somewhere they have that introduction, that what basically they are and how
They have
people.
in NSE one.
NSE 1. Okay, yep.
Mm. They
So
provide all kind of attack information.
hmm, yeah, like I think all the virus and all they have provided all the basic things.
Even the certification is free for that
Yeah,
NSE one.
correct. Yeah. So now what is happening basically for the denial of service, people uh, draft the packet, not draft. In fact, I will say the draft the packet uh, in such a way that it doesn't have any value or data inside that one. Okay. What they do, if you remember the TCP three-way handshake, so in the TCP three-way handshake, we have like uh, SYN, like whenever we are trying to connect with the server, we go with the SYN, and from the SYN bit on, we try to connect to the server. For example, this is my server and this is my machine clients here, and that's try to connect that one. And now, whenever it responds with SYN plus ACK. So what server basically does, it also takes care of that session, because once you send the SYN and it is sending you back the SYN plus X, it take care of that session information that okay, somebody is trying to connect. So I will hold on for some time. They will send back the pack. Right? This is normal process that machine will send SYN, server will reply with SYN plus ACK, and then machine will reply back with the acknowledgement, and my TCP three-way handshake is completed and it is done. In case of the malicious behavior, malicious intent, what people they do, they are just doing for the this SYN, they are sending SYN, and wherein the reply is coming SYN plus ACK, they are not responding back with the acknowledgement, resulting like their server is holding down that or that session, waiting that okay, that acknowledgement might have been lost somewhere in between. They might send back that SYN plus X, that okay, communication has lost, and because of that they are holding of that session, because whenever they have holded of the session, they have some resources allocated like CPU, not CPU, in fact the memory is lost, right? Some we take some space for that one, that okay, we are holding off on that session. Whenever this behavior is in the large quantity, so for example your server is able to handle uh, 1 million session, okay, 1 million is like also for the very high end. For example, 50,000. Let's take simple one. So, for example, they are able to handle the 50,000 sessions or the 50,000 requests per second. But now these guys, they use some different methodology, and they launch an attack, or I will say they launched a request, or they sent a SYN more than the this count 50,000. For example, they launched at 1 lakh, right? So now what will be happening? Some of the sessions or the requests will be dropped by the server. They will not be able to serve by other server, and the request will be start dropping, and services will be impacted. And these guys are what they are doing. They are just sending a SYN and that's gone away. It's like somebody is knocking at your door, and when nobody is like there on your door, just knocking, gone away, knocking, gone away, knocking, gone away, right? So because of that, your services get disrupted because of this uh, high volume of the concurrent request. So this concurrent request can be sent via the same machine, right? So we may configure certain policies, and we can enable that DOS policy here, that okay, whenever we see the such type of uh, crafted packets that only SYN is coming and acknowledgement is not coming from the same IP, we start blocking those requests, or we not take those connection from the same machine, because obviously that people will be trying to connect from the same machine. So that's one way, like we'll because of the TOS policy, that okay, we have a huge number of requests from one machine, and they looks like they are trying to disrupt our services. So our firewall will block those requests, and they will not allow to come back. So whatever like my server was overwhelmed with these requests, that will save, and whatever the genuine requests are coming, that can be saved. So that's basically is happening with the TOS policy. So these policies are smart enough, and they just check that packet type, that what is happening with the uh, large flood of the same packet, and accordingly it starts blocking on the firewall. Clear? Any question in this?
How to do that in FortiGate?
We have certain DOS policies. We create a policy and attach on the profile. So we have security profiles. We will create a security profile for DOS and attach in the policy. You don't have to worry about that one. That firewall is smart enough to detect the DOS type. But okay, this is DOS.
And how to create that policy?
Yeah, that I will show you. Whenever
Okay.
once you are doing the lab, then we will take
Okay.
care of
Okay. Okay. Okay.
it. Now, if we go for the my firewall was smart enough and it was able to block the request from the same machine. What if these requests, whatever coming, they are not coming from same machine and they are coming from the multiple IPs? Then how basically you are going to block it? Like for example, rather than the single machine, you are easily identified, okay, this is like a fake packet. But what if at the same time and 1 million machine start sending packet unnecessarily on your server? 1 million machine. Is it possible or not possible?
Yes, it can be possible.
How?
Yes, botnets.
Botnets, right? So that's the option, right? Is the botnet. So we have like a chain of botnet, and from the bots we have like command and control center, and from those they launch an attack, but and bots start sending a flood to these servers, and these whatever the we are like having the machines, these are disruptive. So we have like certain mechanism, like not only one option is available to stop the DDoS attack, and this is like really challenging to stop those, but yeah, certain scrubber services are provided and they able to identify. Firewall also able to are able to identify, but this is not effective very much for case of DDoS because they may start dropping the genuine packets as well. So we can enable it, but that's not much effective. So that's why they have only having the DOS, not the DDoS policies. Clear?
So how this DDoS is prevented?
So for the
Any?
DDoS, we have certain methodologies. Not only one option is available. Very first thing genuine because uh, very first and genuine way is to increase resources. Okay, so increase resources for example, your one server is able to handle 1 million requests, and you can think that okay, these many of the achievable and these such a large stack may be launched. So increase resources and deploy 2 or 4, 5 servers because you are the large enterprise. Okay, use load balancer. Load balancer means that inside your load balancer you have multiple servers serving those requests. So your server will not be overwhelmed, and even if like 1 or 2 server goes down, remaining might be serving. And meanwhile, you have time to remediate and take an action that all of a sudden your services went down. Okay. Second option is that start blocking the IP addresses. So whatever the malicious IPs are there, just keep blocking those IP addresses. This is not one time that instantly you cannot block. You have every organization is having this methodology. They have whenever they see any reconnaissance attack or any brute force attack or any malicious IP coming to their network, they start block. They have like huge list. They keep on adding those blocks. So that's option. Like whenever once you launch any attack, at least you will be safe. For example, you have 50,000 IP here, right? You already blocked. So it could be whenever the launch attack is launched, uh, 20,000 IP were from this list, only 50,000. So it's just like you're reducing load on your server. And third options are like you can use your DOS policies or the different mechanisms for these things. So they will try to identify that what are the uh, wrongly crafted packets, and accordingly we will filter those and they will come back to us. We are also having that service provider uh, for this what we call scrub services are available, but these are very costly. If you have such type of thing, like requirement that scrub provider, so they are for example, Akamai. Okay, so Akamai is one of the DDoS attack provider, or you also have like this Incapsula. So this, I'm taking just one of them, popular ones, but same times others also services providing. What they basically do, you have one server here. They will redirect all their traffic towards their network, and from their network only the traffic will be coming to your server. Okay, so what they do, like your traffic is being filtered or inspected that any attack is launched or not. So they have the like all the services available in order to block the DDoS attack, because they do not only provide only for you, but they have for the uh, all the other enterprises as well. So when once like they have mechanism to observe that DDoS attack is happening, and instantly they launch a scrubber services automatically. You don't have to worry. Like they observe it, that, okay, there's a DDoS attack is happening, and because of the different crafted packets and SYN based flood attack, so they observe it and their scrubbers being activated, and then your traffic, filtered traffic only will be coming to your environment. So your environment will be safe, but they charge very high. And why they not, like you might be asking question that why did not they always uh, include their services? So if they include their scrub services always, performance is being impacted. Whatever the packets will be coming to your network, there will be like latency issues will be there. So they do not implement every time. Once they observe on their monitoring profile that okay, the attack is launched, then only they deploy scrub and filter whatever the uh, uncrafted or the wrongly packets are there, and that's how they provide. So these are like methods you can utilize for the DDoS attack, and there's not a one single way to stop the get to yeah. There's no single way to stop these DDoS attacks. You have to deploy the multiple methods, because it is very difficult to distinguish between the genuine and the original packets. Okay, because we think only the SYN option is there, but sometimes they even like launched an ICMP. Not even like ICMP, whatever the services you are provided. For example, you are providing the 443, they will send packet in such a way that you will feel that okay, your the devices whatever have implemented, you will feel that okay, they are really genuine. Okay. So if I move further, I think no question in this, right?
Yeah, no questions.
Perfect. So if we move further in our basically the packet flow, then what is happening? It is checking it's like IP integrated header checking is like the headers are in the available in the proper formats, or for example, let's suppose the TTL has expired, right? So it will drop it here. It will not process it further. So that's why like all the header information is perfect and genuine in order to proceed further. If it reaches to the firewall and it says that okay, it is sorry, it is a IPsec VPN packet, right? So if it is an IPsec VPN packet, then we cannot read that information inside because this is an encrypted packet. So what it will do, we will do the decryption very first. So if we are having the key and our firewall is able to decrypt it and it has the permission to decrypt it, it will decrypt it right away at this stage. These are the normal CP8 and CP9 processes which are responsible for this decryption. Sometimes interviewer asks that what are these what are the processes involved for the decryption? So these are like CP8 and CP9, and the same processes will be involved for the encryption at the exit. So I will just explain at the later stage why we need that one. Okay. So, but at here we will just use the CP8 and CP9 at the decryption. In some cases, like for the packets which are not required to decrypt, or the server serving those requests do not allow you to decrypt those. For example, the banking websites or any other confidential information traveling inside those packets. They are not allowed to decrypt those ones. So in that case, we will not decrypt and just process those further without decrypting those. Now the packet reaches to our admission control section. In admission control success, we just check it out that, okay, we have the quarantine, we have like this, whatever the IP address is coming here, is that part of IP quarantine list, or you have already blocked it. Okay, so if it is part of that one, your packet will be dropped here. We will not process it further. We'll also check that any FortiTelemetry data to be sent. FortiTelemetry is basically like you're trying to communicate with the FortiNet servers. Okay, so if their communication need to be done, like we will check that, and that will be communicated, and then we will process it further for the user authentication captive portal. So whenever we go for the user authentication captive portal, it means that uh, this is basically like we sometimes create a username and password. Okay, username and password, and we include that on the interface level. Anybody, any user trying to access, first he will be prompted a web page from the FortiGate, and he has to enter his username and password. Once they enter it here, there's these credentials are correct, then only it will process further. If you fail it here, your packet will be dropped and it will not be processed further. So these are like, if you have enabled this captive portal, then only this check will be done. If you have not enabled captive portal in your FortiGate firewall, then obviously it will uh, like pass on further. It will not uh, do these checks. So this is like you have enabled, then it will be checked. Otherwise, it will pass further. Same thing, we pass this one according to the admission control. So it is like you are giving a permission that, okay, from this user is allowed to admit it or not, go inside. Okay. Now, once like this passes on to the admission control section and it is permitted to move further, now it checks our destination NAT, and this is responsible for the like kernel behavior. Like kernels are responsible for these sections. You see that this kernel and these are taking care of these values. So very first thing, destination NAT checks the NAT table and determines if the destination IP address for incoming traffic required to be changed or not. So for example, uh, you have certain rules configured on your firewall, and according to that, destination IP need to be changed. Okay. So if that has to be changed, then it will be done here. Why it is required? Because with the destination IP, we check that what is the new IP. According to that, I will check the routing. That, okay, what is the routing behavior for that new IP? Because if you do not check the new IP, it could be like you have the IP address 10.1.1.10, and that is going out of the port 4. But if there is a NAT configured, a destination NAT, and the destination IP has been changed from this IP address to 20.20.20, and that is having exit from the port 3. So the policy will be different. It could be hitting the different policy whenever it is exiting from port 4, but whenever it is exiting from port 3, it could be hitting the different policy. And now I have to check, like firewall has to check that whether according to that policy, this traffic is allowed or not. So that's why it is very it is done at the very first step, the destination NAT. Then we look on to the routing, that, okay, from which interface it has to exit. So these two are responsible to identify that from which interface it is exiting. So we already know it that, okay, it is entering from which interface, from here, right? Because that's not in our control. It is coming according to the routing from the backend, like the switch or the router behind that one. It has entered from the, for example, port 2, and now On firewall, I will be deciding whatever the routing or the destination NAT is configured accordingly, that from which interface it is going out. Once it is decided, like this is like ingress, or you can say the source interface, and this is the destination interface. Now it is coming to the stateful inspection, or you can say the policy lookup. So now it is responsible that we are going to check the firewall policy. So firewall policy is having like from this source address going to this destination address, and the action is allow or deny, right? So this is only done for the first packet. Means that whenever the machine is trying to communicate with the server here, and here are the firewall, whenever we went for the TCP three-way handshake, and we see that, okay, this is a SYN bit. SYN bit on means that the machine is trying to initiate the connection with the server. If it is trying to initiate the connection, then I will check the firewall policy that whether this user is allowed to connect to that server or not. I will check the source IP, destination IP, destination port, or whatever the policies like security profiles you have included. All the checks will be done according to the your configuration. And if the action is allowed, if the action is allowed, what the firewall do, it will install a session on the firewall. Let me change this color. So it will install a session on the firewall. Once the session is installed, and now the second packet will be coming, like once TCP three-way handshake is done, and now further on, whatever the packets will be coming, what they will first check, they will check that whether the session available or not. So if the session is available, the same behavior, same action will be taken, that okay, I have to allow the packet. The like every time, like whatever the successive packets will be coming, they are not going to check that policy, that what is the like I am checking that once again based on the session, because it knows that okay, that action is allowed. So I keep on going, keep on going. Clear? And if the action is denied,
So this thing will only happen for the kernel or for entire process. Like for
only
example, one packet is allowed, so it's allowed uh, always for the only for the kernel or for like admission control and other way as well.
this is happening only with the once we are looking up the policy, then only,
Okay.
not for other ones. Like whenever you are inside this box, these are things I will check. And if the packet is denied, so obviously like we discard the packet and we forget it, whatever is there. Clear? So that's how basically it is important that it is not like checking the uh, firewall policy every time the next packet is coming. It is only checking at the start of the session. And once like we have the taken action allowed, session is installed on my firewall, and I will take the successive actions according to that. Okay. There are certain session helpers. So these session helpers are basically like the real-time traffic, for example, the PPTP, SIP, or VoIP type of things. So what they basically do, uh, some protocols like include information about this packet body. So these majorly they are like VoIP. Okay, so and VoIP also includes that SIP, basically that session initiation protocol. Okay. So in order to successfully process these packets, FortiOS must be able to extract information from the body of the SIP packet and use this information to allow the voice carrying packets through the firewall. So that's why we use some session helpers. Okay, let me change the color. So we use some session helpers, so that I can uh, process the packet faster, because these are like real-time protocols. So this is only available for the specific one. For example, yeah, I'm writing here. So like RAS, they have some certain list. I like you have to check the documentation, but these are the major RAS, SIP, PPTP, right? So these are the major ones we are using. FTP also comes part of that one, and accordingly we take the use of the session helpers. Next section is our user authentication. So user authentication is basically like whenever you are configuring the policy, some users authentication has been done. That is that user allowed to pass through to the policy or not. So we configure the policy based on the IP. We can also configure the policy based on the user ID. Accordingly, if it is allowed to pass through, it will be checked here at this level. Firewall is also able to identify the device identification, that what type of device you are trying to access, right? For example, you are accessing from the mobile phone, you are from the laptop, or if you are from the laptop, which versions you are using of that laptop, whether like you are using Windows 7 and that's not allowed to pass connect to certain services. These type of checks will be done using the device identification. And now we take care of the SSL VPN. So for example, any SSL encrypted traffic is going to, and you are using an SSL VPN, those checks will be done at this level, that whatever is happening. If you are only, this is happening only if you are allowed to decrypt that packet. Otherwise, we will not be checking and we'll just pause on. Okay. And at the end, we are checking the local management traffic. So local management traffic is basically this admin access, whatever we are having. So admin access, whenever we say, these are the traffic which are responsible for the accessing the firewalls. Accessing means like, let's suppose for the port 1, you have that capability to like directly log on to the firewall, right? Management interface. Remaining other ones, like traffic ones, they are not responsible for the local management traffic, and we will not check these ones. But whenever we have enabled an admin access, and then only this comes in the picture. So this is basically the management traffic, and this is being processed by an applications such as web server, which displays as 40 OS GUI, the SSH server from the CLI, or the FortiGuard server, because this is a management and it needs to connect to the FortiGuard server as well in order to handle the local FortiGuard database for the updates we get, for like for example the web filtering. So if you are not having the connection with the FortiGuard, you will not be uh, getting a database update from the FortiGuard. So this is very essential that to you, the type of things will be done here under the local management traffic. Once all these checks are done, meanwhile, like any questions in this, whatever we have just covered, else we'll move on the YouTube bars. Any question on this?
So this SSL VPN thing,
Mhm.
uh, it's only with the SSL VPN or is it with the SSL type of traffic? Like
This is
when you, hmm,
SSL VPN, not the SSL like normal one.
okay,
So
no,
these are
I thought,
basically like,
hmm,
so these are packets are decrypted and routed to an SSL VPN interface. So for example, any SSL VPN you have configured, right? So in that case, your traffic will be sent towards that SSL VPN interface. And policy lookup will, because once you have configured an SSL VPN, and you have to do the policy lookup also according to that. So your traffic will be going outside of that SSL VPN. So encryption, like SSL encryption and decryption, whatever be required will be happening here only for the VPN, not like, for example, you are accessing any website that google.com and that is decrypted. So that will not be here.
Okay, but this firewall has the ability to decrypt those things, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. It has ability.
The traffic coming
Yeah.
from the, yeah, having
Yeah.
HTTPS, so
Yep.
they can decrypt, right?
Yeah. They can decrypt. Yeah.
Oh. So, but this is not the SSL thing is not responsible for
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. This number 7 steps is not responsible for that. This is only for the VPN, SSL VPN whenever you're configuring.
Okay, got that. Thanks.
Okay. So now, if we go to our next section, that is basically our UTM based inspection. So here, basically, we have two types: flow based and the proxy based.
So, what is this NGFW, next generation? Why the firewalls are called next generation?
I think I covered this in the first section, but I will tell you once again. So whenever the firewalls are responsible, responsible for the traversing packets only up to uh, what is called transport layer, or we can say the layer 4. Okay, a firewall which is having like responsible for the transport layer only uh, processing, they are called as a legacy firewall. It means that, for example, you remember your normal ACL, access control list, that is having the control of, like, you can block the source IP, destination IP, you can block the port numbers, right? So once we can overly block the port numbers, that is the feature of the your normal uh, L4, and these comes under the legacy firewall. But if you want to obtain or block any traffic that is of application layer, for example, you want to block any facebook.com and you want your firewall to identify the website facebook.com and then block it. You cannot block from this source and destination IP because you don't know the uh, your device is not able to read this facebook.com. It doesn't know what is information traveling at the application layer. Same time, for example, you want to block anything like your file filter. File filter means that you want to block executable file. You want to block the PDF file. So these information, these type of things cannot be done at the legacy with the legacy firewall or with the control of the source and destination IP and the port numbers. For that, we need the capability of the device which can read and traffic up to the application layer. So the devices which are capable to read and inspect the traffic up to the application layer are called as the next generation firewall. Okay, NGFW. And whatever is capable of only up to the L4, they called as the legacy firewalls. And usually people call it as NGFW, and here they have like a new term added, UTM. So that's fine. Unified threat management. So they are similar to that one. So we also call them one. Okay.
Okay.
So there's like two types of inspection mode is happening. One is flow-based inspection, and next is proxy-based inspection. So whenever there's like flow-based inspection, it means that whenever the packet is coming on your firewall, each and individual packet is being checked against the rules or the security profiles you have configured. Every packet. So every packet comes, checked, went, gone. Packet came, checked, gone. Came, checked, and gone. Okay. So every packet individually we are checking it here. So what is happening? This, and in let me take about the proxy. And in case of proxy, what we are doing, we are not checking that each and every packet. rather than we are taking the complete file. For example, any packet is coming, I will mark that packet on the buffer. I'll hold on for some time. Whenever the complete file is arrived, then I will implement the checks or UTF checks. All the profiles what is available, then I will do the checks. Okay. So there are like some pros and cons for both of them. This is our flow based. Yeah, this is the proxy based.
This proxy based buffer the packet, so it would take some time, right?
That's right. So this becomes a little bit slow,
Slow.
and this
And
is faster.
mhm.
But the like everybody has pros and cons. So this is like a benefit you are seeing. But the problem is that sometimes whenever the file filter or some other profiles are happening, for example, you are blocking any virus, okay, and that virus is like quite smart enough, and that is not like showing the true behavior in the packet wise. So that may pass through the flow based, and you are not able to detect your virus. You are using that antivirus feature, but it may not be checked here because you are just using the individual packets. But here you are like uh, scanning complete file. So efficiency level of the scanning the file is better here. Better performance with the security checks, not the like faster, but the security levels. For example, you want to block that exe file. It may not able to identify that okay, this is exe file whenever you are just scanning one single packet. You have to assemble those packets and you have to check that okay, what is the file type, then only it can be blocked. So obviously, like whenever you include your EPM features, uh, efficiency of these checks are less in case of the flow based, and it is better on the proxy based. So it just depends on your trade-off that what you want to choose. Either you want to go with the flow based or you want to go with the proxy based. Clear?
Yeah.
Nice. So that's basically the difference between the flow based and proxy based. And I think the botnet check, you already know that what are the botnets, and botnet we only responsible here that if any uh, bot traffic is going out from our, we do not uh, like block any malicious attempt. Like for example, anybody has launched to our one, then that only we do not do. We just only cross verify that our any of the machine is not become a bot in our network. Okay, so that's what basically this botnet check does, and make sure that any of the device doesn't get the victim of it. And these are again like done by the CP8 and CP9 processes. So like these we have like certain modules. These are called as like SPUs, security processing units. So they basically just take care of that one. We have some other modules as well, like CP4, CP5, and CP6. In the older versions, they used to do that one, but these are like more effective, the CP8 and CP9. So we are using that one. Okay. So there
They
are
are
like,
kind of processors.
yes, these are processors. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have like a lot of things responsibility on the CP8 and CP9. For example, they do the IPS signature correlation, IPsec and encryption. You already that saw that one, right? Whenever we are doing any SHA or like encryption or decryption, so hashing is being done. So MD5 and SHA, SHA want all those things. Whenever we are using this HMAC, so these type of that complex things, whatever we are like doing here, these all are the things are being done by the our CP and CP9. Once all these checks are done, then we move for the exit stage. So this is basically like packet is preparing for the uh, trying to get the exit from our firewall. So once it is trying to exit, we just go for the packet forwarding, and once it is leaving our trying to leave our packet, then we will do the source NAT. Source NAT means that our source IP will be translated to the required one. So if we have
Actually,
configured,
did I miss the explicit web proxy? Looks like,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, explicit web proxy are basically like the different, like you can configure your firewall as a web proxy. And in that case, what is going to happen? You are going to, like your firewall will work as a proxy. So uh, they're like other vendors, they are providing like a normal proxy. For example, you have a blue coat. So how
I'm sorry,
basic?
actually, I'm not know about the proxy things.
So I will just summarize it. Like I will not go into detail. But what is happening with the like blue coat proxy? The same thing is happening here. I'm just giving an example. Third party does it works similar that way. Okay, if you configure your firewall in the explicit web proxy mode. Okay, so what happens here? Like for example, you try to uh, send any traffic. Okay, through your proxy. Then what happens that your proxy is having a pack file. This is called as the proxy access control file or something. Full form, I don't remember right now. Let me search it quickly. And you can see it here. Backward form in proxy. Proxy auto configuration file. So what is happening basically? Whatever the like things you are configuring here, this file is having certain rules that what you can access, what you cannot access, what is allowed, what is not allowed. Accordingly, it will like allow the traffic. For example, it has that, okay, these are like malicious IP and you're not allowed to access these websites. So that rule is written on that pack file. And once it is downloaded on your machine, you will not be allowed to connect to those websites. If you come to the firewall section, it will be checked via the firewall policy that you are looking up to the firewall policy on the firewall when you are taking the decision whether you are allowed to connect or not. Here, in case of like normal proxy and according to the pack file download, your machine will not initiate the connection. It will just like block it here that you're not allowed. This is malicious file and you will not allow. So if you configure that explicit web proxy, pack file will be downloaded on your machine and accordingly those actions will be taken. That's what is happening in the explicit web proxy. You can configure your firewall as a explicit web proxy as well. But even if you are using it, then only it works. If you're not using, not enable that feature, it's not going to work. Okay. Nothing is clear, right?
So, yeah, please let me know, like, in the case of interviews, so these things got asked by the interviewer?
Uh, whatever I'm discussing, complete things here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like I have given interviews and they used to ask that basically that they use that what is the packet flow. They do not ask in the too much detail what I'm telling you, but they used to ask that what is happening first. That for example, they say you that, okay, any packet is going on your policy check. Do you do the IPsec VPN decryption on you on the firewall or you don't do? So
Okay.
you say that, okay, if you don't know, the obviously you will say that yes or no. I don't know that what you will answer. But let's suppose you say that, okay, no, I will not do this encrypted packet and I will not do the packet. Then they will say that, okay, if you do not do the IPsec decryption, then how basically you will check that whether your traffic is allowed or not. Then again, you will get confused that, okay, yes, so how basically will. So like everything, you never know that on which section they will ask that. Okay, but I think 20 to 30% interviews I have given. Like they have asked this regarding the packet flow. That's what basically it is happening. And this is very essential for the troubleshooting,
Okay.
because if you don't know that how the packet is traveling, you might be struggling that whenever you are seeing any packet drop, then you can't do that.
Okay.
So
I
now,
have like one more like way. It's not related to that actually. I was thinking like if we have the good knowledge on this firewall, like
Mhm.
having training, and after that for 3 4 months we have practice, then when we doing the interview, like how much we can expect the hike on this
Like
after
once you know
this?
the firewall, then how much increment you can get?
Yeah.
That's like really depends on your current package, very first. Okay. So, and after that one, that from how
Okay.
long you
Then
have.
what can be the like average package if we know the for FortiGate firewall?
No, 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 no. There's no average package, but that's totally depends on like from your current package. Because nowadays companies are not giving you that, okay, you know the firewall, then you have like 2 LPA right now, and I will give you 20 LPA because you know the firewall. Not like that, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
They don't do that. So they look onto your current package, they look onto your experience, that how much experience you are having. And after that one, like from how long you have not been switched, that also matters. For example, your current package is 5 LPA, okay? And you have like 5 years of experience. So now you feel that, okay, 5 LPA, 5 years, you are at the lower end side. You're not at
Mm-hmm.
the good level. You learned the
Mm-hmm.
firewall, just okay. You don't have and not at all having any experience, but at least you have gone through the course and you are at the average level. You're not expert, but you are good level. Now, what is happening? You can like let's suppose from the 5 years experience, you have not switched job from the last 3 years. That's why you have low, because if you keep on switching, you do not lie on this 5 LPA. So just you only land on the lower package whenever you don't switch your job frequently. And
Okay.
now you can like simply ask for the from 5 to at least 70 to 80% hike, because from the last 3 years you have not switched, and you have total 5 years experience. From the 5 years of experience, I feel that you should be something reaching towards the 12 to around 12 to 14 LPA package after 5 years. Somewhere it should be landing an average, and that because you're having 5 LPA. But you if you're already having like 12 LPA, 12 to 14 LPA at 5 years of experience, and now you're uh, again jumping even after 2 years of job, you can expect something like 20 to 22. Nobody's stopping. So it just depends on that your current package, what you're having right now. Let's make a really difference.
Like if we have like more than this package, like more than five, like
Mhm.
can we go like after 6 months, completing the course and having like good practice on lab and some troubleshooting in the environment as well? Can
Give
we
me,
like
give
try
me,
for this
give me,
15
give me
16
the example. Give me the example. Years of experience.
years of experience for
4. Okay.
with the same
Package.
organization?
No, no, total
Okay,
I'm
so
talking about.
let me tell you, it's 8.5.
Total 8.5. Okay. And
Yeah,
current,
this is current.
this is 8.5 package.
Yeah,
Okay. 4 years. Total experience, how many you have? Like anyone, like
four
I'm not
years.
taking on. Okay. Just to give a genuine, I'm not as like telling you like your name, because it's like confidential one, and we are recording as well. So
Mhm.
give me any approximate value, because we're just giving an example. Okay. So now if you 4 years and 8.5, and uh, now you like have a good knowledge, okay, and you're switching job. That very important thing, that you switch your job. Even if you're on same organization, you have good knowledge on the firewall, you will not get package. This is like
That is
normal
correct.
behavior every organization is having, and good standard. So I'm telling the true
Yes.
scenarios. You have to switch the job. If you switch job in this scenario, you could be something getting around 18, I feel. Not perfect 18, but yeah, between 15 to 18. You should like you can negotiate between 15 to 18. Like companies may stick around to 50% hike. They may say that okay, I will not give you more than 50% or 60, but there's nothing wrong. You can like stick on 18. Something you can get maximum. There's no maximum limit. If you can negotiate well, you can reach up to 20 as well. But yeah, something between 15 to 18, you should get it if you switch the job.
Okay.
And also it depends on your notice period as well. So if you have a longer notice period, you may get
Which is 3 months mostly.
then you may like land into 40 to 50%. So this is like people are doing. These are the tricks. Get a job like on the even 50%. Say yes. Once you get a offer, hold on for some time. Like your notice period will be reduced because you're serving notice period now, and now you can keep giving interviews and now get 60% to 80% another offer, right? Multiple offers, and take the whatever is the better. So that's how you can get a good package.
So you do help to in interviews as well.
Not specifically, I do not but that's how basic like telling you these questions and explaining these scenarios only, not scheduling your
Okay.
interviews. Like because I don't have any contracts with the consultancies or the
No, I'm not
recruiters as
like asking to schedule
well.
an interview. I'm just asking if we are preparing, then in that case, then you can help us at that time.
Yeah, if you have any questions, like feel free to get in touch. I used to help on those.
Sure, sure, sure.
But normally,
Okay,
like
then
whatever I'm
we can.
teaching, like yeah, most of the things whatever I'm teaching right now, the questions are covered from these. The things only happen like sometimes you forget it. So I will just review it. That's it. Because I'm just telling you that if
And
you're
I have one more query. Like, if we are giving the interview and we are saying like we know FortiGate and we all these things, so they ask from the basic level on from switching and routing as well?
it just depends their JD job description. If they have the requirement for the routing and switching, then only they are going to ask. Else they will not. And also
Okay.
one more thing that you have written in your resume that I good at the networking, then only they are going to
Mhm.
ask. And if they don't get the question, but if they let's suppose they have the requirement of the firewall only, then they are not going to ask. But in the 70 to 80% chances, the requirement is the networking plus firewall. Like hardly you will get that only firewall. So, but if the requirement is
Mhm.
there, then now only the firewall they will ask.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yep.
Thank you for the information.
Yep, perfect. So these are like very essential because learning is very good, but these are the two, target.
The actually our life so completely depends on this, right?
Yeah. So okay, so finally,
Okay,
like
please
whenever
go on.
yeah, we are leaving our packet here, then we will do the source net. Like our source IP will be translated to the required one. So for example, your destination IP, sorry, your source IP is 10.1.1.10. And for example, it has to go to the internet. So that needs a public IP and that may be translated to 129.20.1.1. So that will be happening at here at the source land. Once the packet is now ready to leave, now whatever the decryption we did, if it was a VPN packet, only the mark these words. If it is a VPN packet, the encryption will be happening once again. CP8 and CP9 will responsible for that one, and it will process it further with the encrypted packet. If it is not required, we will skip this part and then we'll process further. Now we will check that whether any QoS policy is configured, traffic shaping accordingly, like whatever the weight or the priorities or drop is required, we will patch it here and process it further. Then we have some WAN optimization that where it has to go in this direction or that direction. Okay, accordingly it will be done and sent to that interface. Again, you will like whatever the TCP/IP stack will be was there. It will be responsible for the care of that TCP/IP stack and will send your packet toward the network interface, and your packet get exit from here. Cool. Communications in entire packet flow.
Not on this, but actually, I have one query. Like, can you please, are you going to tell the complete process how to do these things?
From you, you wanted to, yeah, please go ahead.
I mean, the how to implement all these things. Are you going to teach us on
Yeah, yeah,
these
obviously,
things?
like we will cover everything step by step. Why
Okay.
I have
I
tell
thought
you.
this will be only like theoretical.
These are all the things like we'll be doing, but some of the things like you may not be able to visualize it. For example, it just installs that session and then it doesn't do checks or the next. So that's we cannot visualize it. But obviously, like we will configure a policy, but and that some backend process will be doing that one. For example, the I at the entry we do the IPsec decryption. We may not be able to see those that how the decryption is happening, right? Because this is the internal
Yeah, yeah,
processes.
that is fine. I'm asking like for the implementation thing only.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever like
Uh,
these things, for example, like these UTM sections, security profiles, that we will be doing all the labs.
uh,
Any other question we have?
no from my side.
No. Okay.
Yeah, no questions.
Okay. Cool. So now I'll start something new, and let me tell you about. Should I tell you the zones? I think. Uh, I think somebody was asking that how basically the zones. Yeah, I think that will be a good idea. Then I was about to start the NAT, but rather than I will start those. That will be good
Zone something like DMZ.
type of thing. Yeah.
Can zone be a replaceable word for the VRF? No.
No, no. URF is having like routing information, right? That's
Yes.
not here.
Okay.
If I log into my EVNG, if I go to the NAT, that will be totally theoretical session for you, and it will be like you will feel get bored because we already have like around 1 hour for the theory. If we do lab, it will be like little bit interactive. And I will go for the HTML5 console. Okay, it's not logging in. Something went wrong. Let me check the disk space. Okay, it's quite high. Hold on, guys. Let me restart my VMware. I have assigned in 100 GB here. P 100, 27, 27, and this one. Yeah, I have a space, so should be fine. Let me try again. Oh, I was using the wrong password. Now I remember. I was using the firewall password, and that's what I'm logging. Uh, Today I got one query that if you forgot the password of your firewall, then what you will do?
Done that one actually. We
You have
have to
done that?
use the serial number and we have to write something in front of it. I have done it before, but I'm not sure what was that. I forgot it.
Okay. So let me use that. Try. That was saying that you have to use maintainer count,
Ah, that's correct. Maintainer.
EBCB, and then
Serial number.
the serial number, right?
And it to do reboot something like that happen.
Yeah. Okay. Copy paste is fine. So I think maintainer password is not right. So main,
Not sure where I have written this thing, but I have done this. Let me
hmm,
check.
maintainer 40K count.
I tried to learn FortiGate before
Hmm.
by own, but I had so many queries which was not able to
Like
clarify.
sort of. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why I need some trainer.
Yeah, that's like hard to say, but most of the people like think in such a way and they stop it. Like they stop it. Like they stuck and they stop it, but they don't want to spend money. It happened with me as well. So finally I thought that okay, no, I have to do it. DPCV. I started around, I think, very first thing like I started learn networking in year around 2013. So the same thing
Um,
I did, I was like learning CCNA and from this YouTube, and then I was having like lot of queries, and then but no, I was not having courage to spend money. I was thinking that oh no no yeah, money how can we spend? Then I just like took like hard decision, and that was the first time I spent money on learning something. I think I took around
where did network bus or where
no there was some
network?
nice like normal guy he was teaching. He was charged me something around 5,000 or five same thing I think 5,000. He took me the fixed one 5,000 and for the CCNA, and he was in Canada I think, and from the Canada he was teaching those.
Oh,
So But same way, like he was not so popular, but I just reached him through the Facebook, and but he was charging, so that was live training, so I did that one. And then it that like once you get जैसे कहते हैं ना कि शेर के मुंह में खून लग जाता है, then I just got to think that okay, that's really makes difference. And after that one I just took another one for the CCNP, the same guy, and with that CCNA CCNP I switched my job. That's why like really like very good for me, because once you invest something and you get the return, that you get the job, then I slowly move to the firewalls and then cybersecurity and just keep on spending money. For the sometimes I did not get in return, but now I have like okay, I can invest and something, and that's like a good thing I'm getting from that one. So that happens like once you do it and you get the return. If you don't get the return, people get
Actually, I also spent like for CCN and CCRP, but I haven't get the
return.
uh, proper information. Like, yeah. So
Mm.
then afterward, I only moved to the its
Mm.
official guides,
Okay, okay,
Cisco
okay.
certified guides. So
Mm-hmm.
that actually helped me to learn
The
in
true
very,
thing.
very deep, very
Mm-hmm.
true thing.
Mm.
That actually I want to do with the FortiGate as well, but I don't want to spend so much time because learning from books takes so much time,
Takes time. Yeah,
so
yeah.
so much time.
That's right.
So, and again, because it was completely theoretical, not interactive. So some
Mm.
after some time, I start getting bored.
Yeah, yeah.
But just with the information, with the learning, with what I did from the CCNA, I was able to
Mm.
clear the interview level till CCNP as well.
Oh, that's nice.
But the information which we have now in the CCNA is very, very deep, very deep.
Ah,
And
yeah.
we have all kind of information is there. LAN
Okay.
information is there, WAN information is there, Wi-Fi information, wireless information is there, security information is there.
Everything is included there.
Everything is included in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Two books, approximately 800 pages. There was.
Oh. Mm.
But after when I complete those book now, like
Mm.
if someone are going to ask me any question related to anything, I have multiple answers. And so many times it happened like those people also not aware about those answers.
Interviewer
Actually,
get
because why
confused.
it's happening because I'm learning directly from the Cisco, so they know
Ah,
everything.
correct, correct,
So
correct.
what information we got now, we got very deep from them. And
Mm, that's
the other people who actually helped me to get learning is
mm,
from the TCS.
okay, okay. They
I,
are working,
I have
working
given
there.
5 interviews there, out
Mm.
of which four was very dangerous. Like बाल की खाल उतारना जिसको कहते हैं ना,
Ah.
ये हो रहा है तो ये क्यों हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है तो ये क्यों हो रहा है, इसके पीछे का क्या रीजन है, इसके पीछे क्या रीजन है.
But
So
TCS
I was
doesn't
keep
get
on
good
trying.
package, right? TCS doesn't get good package, I
नो नो
remember.
नो 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 एक्चुअली मेरा मेरा एक जगह स्टक हो गया था. मेरा एक्चुअली क्यों स्टक हो गया था वहां पे, मेरा इंटरव्यू
Mm,
क्लियर हो गया था, बस मेरा
mm.
ऑफर लेटर पेंडिंग था, लेकिन वो क्यों नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से पहले मैं जिसमें काम करता था वो बहुत ज्यादा माइक्रो लेवल की वो थी.
Mhm.
और उसमें मेरी लास्ट 6 मंथ्स की सैलरी भी नहीं आई थी. तो
Oh,
और सबसे बड़ी बात, आफ्टर द कोरोना वो बंद हो गई.
oh, oh,
और टीसीएस का जो बैकग्राउंड प्रोसेस है वो बहुत खतरनाक है.
okay.
मैंने उनको अप फ्रंट बोल दिया मैंने क्यों ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बंद हो गई, तो उन्होंने
Mm.
पता नहीं क्या डिस्कस किया, देन दे सेड कि नो वी कांट मूव फॉरवर्ड. मैंने कि मेरे को उससे कोई दिक्कत भी नहीं है, मेरे को बस इंटरव्यू क्लियर करना था.
हाँ, और क्या अपनी कैपेबिलिटी चेक हो गई.
हाँ एक्चुअली मेरे को ये था कि कुछ भी हो जाए मेरे को इसका इंटरव्यू तो क्लियर करना है.
हम्म.
क्योंकि टीसीएस का सीरियसली
हम्म.
इंटरव्यू क्लियर करना इतना इजी भी नहीं है.
ओके.
मतलब एचसीएल का मैंने बहुत इजीली निकाल लिया, सीजीआई का मैंने बहुत इजीली निकाल लिया, लेकिन टीसीएस में
हम्म.
उन्होंने सच में मेरे को प्राण निकाल दिए थे. एक बार तो मतलब खुद पे डाउट आने लग गया था कि भाई कर भी
मतलब
सकता है
एक
कि नहीं कर सकता।
हम्म,
और क्योंकि उनके क्वेश्चंस इतने ज्यादा डेंजरस और डिफिकल्ट थे कि वो करना बहुत
हम्म,
मुश्किल हो रहा था।
हाँ बंदे सही नहीं होंगे।
और वो इतना ज्यादा डेप्थ में पूछ रहे थे, मैंने कि भाई कि क्या चाहते हैं भाई, नहीं लेना तुम वैसे ही बोल दो, बेइज्जती क्यों कर रहे हो।
हाँ सही बात है। ओके
तो
सो
ये अगर क्या कोई इंटरव्यू आ जाए ना इस चीज पे कि भाई मुझे नहीं लेना, तो आप चाहे कितना भी कुछ कर लो, वो नहीं लेगा तो नहीं लेगा।
obviously like yeah,
उसके फिर
that's true,
क्वेश्चन
that's
उस
true.
हिसाब से चेंज हो जाते हैं।
Right. Even like I have taken multiple interviews, so it happens. Like we have, like I know that okay, this guy knows the things, and obviously, like even if I interview that guy in so deep, and whenever I put him in the work, he may not work it, and he has to refer some documents. Then only he can implement it. Without referring, nobody can do it. So what we take off that one, okay, you have some basic knowledge. We make sure by asking different questions that okay, you have worked on it. I'm pretty sure. Then I take that guy to that okay, and the attitude of the learning. That there are some guys they just not able to. Okay, I will not do this. I will not do that. That I don't take that those. And if you are like ready to work, you have some adaptive,
एक्चुअली इन
attitude.
दैट केस ना, माय मैनेजर इज रियली गुड। मैं आपको
Hmm,
बताता हूँ, मैंने मेरा जो नेटवर्किंग करियर है वो एक्चुअली इस यश से स्टार्ट हुआ था।
hmm,
बिफोर दैट आई वाज इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजी।
hmm,
तो
hmm.
आई गॉट लाइक हायर्ड विथ सम जैक जुगाड़।
Hmm.
दैट
Yeah,
टाइम
it
आई
happens.
वाज
Yeah.
नॉट इवन अवेयर अबाउट द ओएसआई लेयर properly.
Hmm, 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 hmm,
But when my manager saw now that this person actually cleared the CCNA,
hmm,
and that time last year I had like three offers, like from CGI, HCL, and one more organization.
hmm,
So he did everything to retain me.
hmm,
बोले हमें भी ऐसे चाहिए जो लर्निंग के लिए हो।
hmm, hmm.
अभी भी
That's
दे
good.
आर सेइंग कि भाई इफ यू वांट टू डू CCNP वी विल पे यू
Hmm,
फॉर
hmm,
द
hmm.
एग्जाम।
Yeah,
मैंने कि अभी
that
पहले
should.
मेरे को कर लेने दो,
Hmm.
क्योंकि CCNP is really very very difficult now, very
Yeah, it's
difficult.
difficult. Yeah, yeah. Syllabus is quite
ट्रेनिंग भले ही
large.
हमें ऐसा लगता है कि ठीक है 2 महीने की ट्रेनिंग में हो गया, बट CCNP जब कोई एग्जाम एग्जाम देने बैठे ना, मतलब मैं एग्जाम की तो छोड़ो, उसमें बुक्स में क्या है,
Hmm,
स्टार्ट होते के साथ कुछ क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, सो दैट
hmm.
यू कैन नो लाइक हाउ मच यू नो अबाउट द चैप्टर।
Yeah,
उन
yeah,
क्वेश्चंस में ही वो घुमा देता है।
that's right. Yeah. So
मैंने कि
let's
भाई तुम
move
तो
ahead. Yeah.
सिस्को में सिलेक्ट कराओगे। या ओके।
Yeah, otherwise we'll like spend a lot of discussion. So I was talking about this zones. So what is happening now that if I look onto the policy right here, firewall policy. So what I created these few policies. For example, I created this blog internet, right? So what is happening now that there is only one option to add the port to. That's it. I cannot add if I like there's a requirement that I want to add more ports there, then I cannot add them there. That is like my problem. So one option I think I remember that I told you that you can add multiple interfaces. If not, I will repeat that option that once again. Okay. So for example, if I want to attach the multiple interfaces, so for that you can go to that system and the feature visibility, and there's an option of the multiple ports somewhere could be there, multi-port option. Yeah, here there's a multiple interface policy. You can enable this. Once you enable, you will be able to add more ports on the same policy. So for example, I go to that source and you see that now we have the plus. Oh, don't have right now. I think we have to create new one, then only it's going to work. Incoming interfaces, port 2,
I think you haven't applied that change.
not applied. Okay.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
okay, I haven't clicked, huh?
Mm.
Okay, apply here. So multiple interfaces enabled. Okay, yeah. And
This
apply.
FortiGate doesn't have this commit check and rollback
No,
options.
rollback option is there, but commit check is not there. Like you
Oh,
once you click OK, everything is done. So be very careful whenever you apply things.
Hmm.
Like in the Palo Alto, we have commit options, so you have one check available. So now if I go to the firewall policy, and you will be able to see that plus section there, right? So now you have the option that, okay, I can add I port 4 as well in the same policy, and I can click OK. This is the one way that I can do it, that you can add multiple interfaces, but there are some times that you need every time the same ports available. And you, for example, this might have- okay, let's see. So for example, you have a certain policies, and every time you need to add port 2, port 4, port 5, for those type of things, right? So every time what you have to do, you have to add the port 3, port 4, port 5, like every time you have to do multiple things here. Rather than what we can do, we can create a zone, okay? We can create a zone, and in that zone, I will assign these port 2, port 4, port 5, whatever ports you want, you can create. And you can also give a naming standard to those zones accordingly you are creating. So for example, this is an internal zone. And for the internal zones, you have the port 2 connectivity, right? So this is the one way you can do it. So for example, for the simplicity, what I'm going to do now, I will remove this from here and I will add
Something
port
like sales,
2.
the place where sales people are sitting, so policy for them, and for some other people, policy for them. Is it something like that?
Similar to that, yeah, that way. Yeah, say
Okay.
like that. Or a few, you can say similar to like that, yeah. So for example, I have created go to network interfaces, and interfaces there is option of the zone. Okay. And zone I can give, for example, my internal network. And in the internal, I can add the interface member. So I can, like the port 1 and port 4 are currently free. So I can use these ports here. I think port 2 I make okay, it was available. So also have to make sure that port is free and not used in any of the policy. Then only you can see it here. Otherwise, you will not see. So for example, for that policy, port 2 is still is used. I remove from this internet policy, but it's still part of this port 2, this block internet. So I will remove this policy. Okay, I'll just let me remove this. And now I should be able to see enter that zone. So I will go to that network interfaces and create the zone. Okay. And now if I create that internal, then I can add my port 2 and port 4, even I port whatever you want. So for example, 3 I have added, let's check this to remove port 1. I have added this one. And now I can go to that policy, whatever it was there under the internet policy. And rather than this one, I will adding the interface here, I can add the zone. So I can select this internal zone. And if I hover over it, you can see that the port 2 and port 4 are the members, right? So I will add this internal zone. So that's how also you can do rather than the selecting the interfaces. Now internally selected, it means the traffic may arrive from the port 2 and port 4 both. So that's how basically you can define the zones. In some other firewalls, like for example, Palo Alto, we have the certain, like it is mandatory to create the zone. If you do not create the zones, they will not work. So they are basically like zone-based firewall, but this is not a mandatory on the FortiGate. You may skip the zone part, but the option is also available. You can take the help of those as well, and you can create the zones. It is totally optional on you. If you want to create, you can. If not, you can leave them. Okay.
Okay. So two interfaces both are in the same zone. Can they communicate with each other
Here,
having the
not
same subnet?
no, no, not like that.
Mm,
So here, that policy will still be applicable. Implicit deny this one.
okay.
So, like in the Palo Alto, you say that in the Palo Alto, what is happening? You have two policies.
Internal and external something.
Interzone and intrazone,
Yes.
right? So intrazone policy is allowed. They have a allow section there. So that is not happening here in that case. Here we have the implicit deny policy, and that takes care that you are not able to communicate from. Are you a part of that same zone, but still you're not able to communicate because of the implicit deny. But here, everything got used because you assign to the same zone, they fall into this intrazone policy, and the communication is allowed. Okay.
Okay.
I have like one query again, same like this. For example, if we have created a zone and we have used two different ports, first, second, and fourth, okay, but we want to give connectivity between the two and four, then how we can give it? Because if we use a separate policy, if we create a separate policy for that, we can't create the zone.
Mm, your point is genuine. You are saying that okay.
Like for example, we have created one zone which is
Mhm,
having two interfaces, two and four,
mhm,
and we can't give the connectivity between them because implicit deny is there.
mhm,
But if we want to give the connectivity,
mhm.
because this can be the scenario, this is possible,
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. So, for example, they are from these two zones and they want to communicate with each other, right?
right? And we can't create
So,
the policy.
yeah, because we cannot
Because if
include
we
these
create the
ports.
policy, then zone will not work.
I think in that case, we can do the same zone policy we can create. But I remember we have like same zone, but that's one more idea is coming in my mind. Uh, and let me check that as well. Okay. So, for example, if I have this internet connectivity, let me shut down the this one and then I will test that one. So if I add VPC here, okay, and add that to the port tree. Okay. Now start my firewall, and now I will start this as well. And let me start this machine as well. Start. Okay, let me shut down कर दिया मैंने. So what okay, this is also up. I was thought that it will take time. Or let it be like that. I will just assign new IP on this one. Okay, we'll try test on this. So I'm assigning IP at 10.1.1.30/24 and subnet I'm giving as 10.1.1.1. Okay, 10.1.1. That's fine. And on this port key, I will Let me give IP address here. Manual 10 dot 2 dot 1 dot 1, or let it be 10 1 10 1. Okay, 10 1 10 1 on the firewall class 24. Okay, and on this machine I will give IP 10 1 10 10 class 24. Default it will be 10 1 10 1. Okay, so now if I go to my firewall, very first I will check the interfaces are fine. I will check the policy. I will, what I will do, I will add both of them in the, so first let's remove this port, this zone basically. Okay, I will go to this zone and delete it. Edit, remove. Okay, okay, so this name is zone, but there's nothing configured there. And very first, I will just check the connectivity that whether it is working very fine or not. Okay. So firewall policy, internet policy, edit. And it's nothing here. I will just go from port 2, port 3, and everything is allowed. And here I will also allow all ICMP. Okay. No NAT is required. Okay. And now if I go from this machine, from VPC to that VPC, okay, I have to ping 10 1 10 10. It's not reachable. What happened?
This is happening same with me, the 3725 device.
No, just you have to do no here. You have to start and do the configuration as no. So then only that all interfaces comes up. Otherwise, interfaces remains down.
I tried everything, but still I'm not sure why it is not working for me.
No, now it will
The
work. You see.
3725.
Okay. So it will make all the interfaces up, and now it will work here. And now if I go with that in 110, still 10 what was not reachable. On which interface is it connected? 1/3 switch. Two is enabled. Now it should be. This is fine. Yeah, now it's fine. So now it's normal communications happening. Like I'm able to ping from here to here, and same thing I should be able to ping 10 1 1 30. 10 1 1 30 is not
The reverse
pingable.
policy is not created, right?
I have, okay, yeah, reverse is not created. Fine. So let's do that as well.
We have multiple interface options.
Yeah, that's enabled now. So I will go to the firewall policy, internet, edit, and add P here and add 2 here. And now it should be fine. Okay, it is working now. So this is a normal behavior like that should work. And now we are going to check about the whenever we
Zone.
create the zone. Okay. So what I will do, I will remove the 2 and 3 very first from that policy. I will put something else, for example, port 4, port 4. Okay. And now I will go to interfaces, create new interfaces. Sorry, already it was there already, right? So I will just
Can
modify that
zone
zone.
is it possible to have single interfaces with different zones?
Single interface with the different zone. No, that's not possible. You cannot assign the same interface to the different zone.
Okay, so one interface can be only on one zone.
Yeah, only on one zone. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will use port 2 and port 3. They are in the same zone now. So very first thing, I just want to I'm not creating any policy for them. And now let's see that what is happening. Are they able to communicate or not? Your first question, right? They are part of the same zone. Will they communicate or not? So I'm going to ping now, and they are the timeout. It means that they are not able to communicate. So I will also enable that logging on the implicit deny. So at least we will be able to see that what is happening, right? So I will go to the policy and objects, firewall policy, and implicit deny. Let's edit this and allow log violation. Okay.
Okay, that is why I'm not having logs when the connection is denied.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me know this.
there are some, secrets still always remains. Uh, Forward traffic, and you can see now that is denied. Like we are trying to communicate, and still it is setting the implicit deny, like they are part of the same zone, but still they are having the communication. Now, what I'm going to do, I will create a new policy and object, firewall policy. Same policy I will modify. And this time, what I will do, I will say that whenever any communication is happening from internal, when going to internal, then please allow the connection, right? You see that policy? Let me show you once again. It says that from the incoming interface is internal and outgoing interface is internal. So it means that your port 2 and port 3 are in this place. I have it as internal, but actually it means the same way it was before. Like port 2 and port 3 are here, right? Same
I
way
have
here.
also thinking the same, but I have one more condition which I will tell you the later. Can we try to think once? I have one
Yeah.
more condition here.
Okay, we'll see that as well. So now I will try to ping and it is working fine. Yeah. Now your
Okay.
condition.
So it was like, for example, if we have a creator zone, okay, and in that we have three interfaces,
Mm-hmm.
and we only want two interface to connect in between. We don't want to interconnect with the third one. And how we can do that?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the same solution which is provided, but I was
Mm-hmm.
got confused with this. Like for example, we have the three different zones, like
Mm,
three different interfaces, which are in the same zone.
mm.
But we don't want one interface to connect to the other one.
Yeah, yeah, got your
Then
point.
how we can do that?
Okay, so that I think I don't see any solution as of now.
Okay.
So I'll check it and let's see how does it work. But there should be some solution for this. But as of now, I haven't observed your case. But yeah, but this is good and that could be required with the practical end. That's not like that. It would not be required practical. So I'll just check that that how it can be done. Is there any way? As of now, if I just think of this perspective, let's add one more. Okay, let me go to that network interfaces. And if I go to that page and let's add port 4 as well. Okay. And now if I go to my firewall policy and create new policy and say that block, and here I will not see the subsequent the zones, right? So even I cannot create the deny policy. Like uh,
Yes. That's what I was asking. Like, can we create a different zone for for the same interface?
so in that case, I think we have to you have to create the different zones. You cannot put like all three on the same. You that's how like you can achieve it. Like for example, you have to deny them, so two should be on the same and one should be in the different. That's not possible. I think that you add them in the same zone and then you want to block the communication within one of them. You have to make them separate because you are blocking the communication from one to other one. You have to put the two one on the different zones. It's like I think you got it, but let me explain once again. For example, you have that port 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And if you put in the same internal zone, you cannot like uh, make a configuration that 2, 3 should be communicate and 4 cannot communicate. In that case, you could create that you create a zone for this, for example, zone 1, and put this on the zone 2. And then you can like allow communication from this zone 1 to zone 2 and from zone block from zone 1 to zone 2. That's how you can achieve. I don't think that we can do in such a way that if you added all of them in the same zone, either you can like take nobody's will communicate, and if you allow communication that internal to internal, then all of them will be communicating with each other. You cannot further granular control you cannot have. So that's how you can achieve that one. Like you can put 2, 3 in the zone 1 and put 4 on zone 2, and then like by default they will not be able to communicate, but if you want to allow, you can allow those. Clear?
Got it.
Yep. So I will stop for today. That's quite a lot. You're bored and hungry as well. So I'm also.
Sure.
Let's meet tomorrow.
Please, share the Windows image to with us.
Yep, yep. Most probably I will do it tomorrow on the first half. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, sure.
And this recording as well.
Yep. Everything should be tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, man. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you
Take
for your time.